Welcome back to episode 4 of the Benchwarmers podcast. We are your hosts, Jacob,
Sam,
and Baden.
and today we're going to recap NFL Sunday, college football, and the implications of the rankings and the current Cavs status. All right, Sam, you want to start it off with your Cavs talk?
Yeah. So the big news for the Cavs, I think, is it's not anything actually about the Cavs, but we play the Nets tonight. And of course, every superstar treats playing Cleveland like it's Game 7. So Kevin Durant, even though he's definitely injured, is playing because why not? We can't catch a break. But I don't know. Promising things are Jared Allen and Laurie are supposed to be back. Jetty's still doubtful, and I don't think Lamar Stevens is playing. But Jared Allen just gives us like an infinitely better chance because we don't have to run Ed Davis out there all the time or Taco Fall. Actually, Ed Davis played well. No Ed Davis slander is going to be tolerated here. But I hope we can beat them. I think this team is a really scrappy team. So I think our goal is not to win, but to fight hard and to keep it close.
Let's do our best.
You got this, guys. If we can get a participation trophy, we'll take it at that point.
I mean, I think the problem is that the Nets' offense is so stacked, and we rely so heavily on our defense. If our defense gets overpowered tonight, we can't keep up on offense. We have to keep it very low scoring, which is very hard to do against the Nets.
Yeah, great offense always beats great defense, and I don't think, especially with no Sexton, no Mobley,
probably no Osman, and Okoro hasn't been that great offensively.
Yeah, without all those guys, there's no way we can. Because to beat the Nets, you got to at least keep up with them a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to score 120 to beat those guys. So, and I don't think.
Ricky Rubio has to have another career night. It's got to be crazy.
Rubio's
Him and Darius Garland.
That's the way we have to win.
The way we have to win is to feed our centers. I mean, if you put Jared Allen in the post against, who's their center? Nicholas Claxton.
Yeah, they do have very little rim protection.
Blake Griffin. No, I feel they'll double team him, and then you can get some of your shooters open. And I know we have like two shooters in Darius Garland and Ricky Rubio, and both of them and Ricky Rubio can't even shoot that well. But just put him in the post and let him work.
We actually haven't talked about this yet, but Colin Sexton injury, torn meniscus.
Oh yeah,
got his surgery. He's out for the season. So that's a killer because Sexton, for all of his flaws, his hero ball and all that, he's a shooter and he can shoot, and we really need a player like that against the Nets.
I think that this is just gonna fuel the trade rumors more, which sucks because I really love Sexton. I think that he's so versatile as a player. I think he's exactly what this team needs. We haven't scored 100 points since he's been out, which again brings me back to my previous point of signing Isaiah Thomas, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah. Colin Sexton is a known Nets killer. If we all remember that game last year, Sexton literally turned not even into prime MJ, better than prime MJ. he made every shot, and it was just kind of wild.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he went like got 42 points, I think. That was insane.
Next year's draft, assuming we keep playing at around the pace we're playing, we're gonna be a middle round pick, like somewhere in the 14, 15 range.
15 to 20.
Hopefully near 20, but
actually, it's gonna be 30. We're gonna pick 30, because we're winning this. we're winning the finals.
But do we think? Is it better to keep Sexton on a big deal or draft a point guard?
We are not going to draft a point guard. Our need is not a point guard.
Got to draft a wing.
We need to draft like a Cam Reddish type player. Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, Kevin Huerter even. I don't know how tall Kevin Huerter is.
I have an idea. Let's just say, all right, we can't really get a deal with Sexton. We use him as a trade piece to trade up in the draft to get one of the better wings.
That's like best case scenario.
I don't like that idea. Because I think Sexton has much more. We already have a lot of guys that need the ball, right? And if you're picking higher up, you can get defense. I feel like you can get defensive-oriented players a little bit further down in the draft.
Yeah.
Like all the great offensive minds are going to go like obviously much higher because worse teams need more production on offense. And we already have a ton of guys that need the ball. Darius needs the ball. Mobley's going to need the ball. Jared Allen's going to need the ball. Ricky Rubio needs the ball. It's not like we have that much more time to pass it around.
I see where you're coming from.
But looking at a little bit larger around the league, Isaiah Stewart versus LeBron.
Oh my goodness. I just saw the video again. That looked somewhat like personal. I don't know why you did that, LeBron.
I mean, that's a really bad look for LeBron. He is for a guy who's been in the league this long and has so many haters. He's been really good at avoiding physical fights and conflicts, and I can't even imagine what happened.
This is his first I know he has only 2 ejections in his career. I remember watching that first game. The refs just got intimidated by a 6'8", 250-pound man screaming at him, and that's the only reason they ejected him. This time I would say this is his first warranted ejection of his career.
But he backed I watched the full video and he backed off really quickly. Isaiah Stewart came after him once. He cooled off and he went away, and then he came after him again, and then he backs off and he goes after him again, and then he runs into the locker room.
I think that was it the third time that he turns into prime Derrick Henry, prime.
I think that was the second time because he was lunging at him, and then that's also the one where he gets scared away by DeAndre Jordan or something. He's pulling after him, and then he's right. I don't know. I think if this was a legitimate fight in a boxing ring, I think LeBron beats Isaiah Stewart 10 times out of 10.
If Isaiah Stewart's that mad, give me Isaiah Stewart. But if it's just a regular fight, I'd go LeBron at 7.
I don't know, because that just feels if LeBron backhanded him hard.
Boom! I don't know. There was no point in that, LeBron.
Because I think Isaiah Stewart was holding onto his shoulder, and so he was trying to get him off, but he was definitely a little bit peeved, a little pissed.
Yeah.
Smack him. But moving on from that, Kristaps, who was the subject of thousands of trade rumors over the offseason, has actually looked very good this season.
He has.
He's averaged in the last 6 or 7 games, I think he's averaging 25 points, 10 rebounds. He scored above 20 for 7 or 8 games for the first time since the Knicks. I don't know. I think that I really do like the idea of Doncic, Luka, and Kristaps. So hopefully it works out. I don't know. I think it's an interesting experiment.
They look good so far.
Yeah. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about for the NBA is the Bulls look legit. DeMar DeRozan should be in the MVP conversation.
Which is so weird to say, looks,
yeah, DeRozan.
I mean,
I don't even think this is the best we've seen DeRozan. It's just that he's doing it on a team that's just been so bad the past few years. And I don't think it's a coincidence, that you add DeRozan and they're a better team. He's been very valuable to that team.
Yeah, DeRozan put up 31 points, 5 assists, and 6 rebounds on 10 of 20 field goals. I mean, this was a trade. This was a signing that everybody was rating as one of the worst of the off seasons because they threw him such a big contract. But he looks. I'm a big DeRozan fan. He just embodies the 90s, I think. His thing is the long mid-range jumper. And he's 2 feet inside of the 3-point line. It's awesome. I love DeRozan.
That's the stupidest shot in the NBA, though.
That is true.
Because you take a couple steps back and it's a 3. You go closer and it's worth the same, but it's easier. It's just one of the least efficient shots in the game. I strongly dislike it.
I don't mind players DeRozan, obviously, other guys like Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, they're good at taking those shots. But there's a reason why there's teams like the Houston Rockets where it's layups and 3-pointers because it's just the most efficient bucket.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, but I'm not gonna say no to 27 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 4 assists on almost 50% from the field. That's just not.
Yeah.
That's not worth complaining about. And actually, he shot decent from the 3-point line as well. He's at 37% right now. That's not dead-eye or anything, but that's league average. Probably maybe a little above.
All right, you guys ready to kind of wrap up the basketball segment? Because I want to do one more thing.
Yeah.
I want to give my winners and losers, biggest winners and losers every week in the NBA. So Eastern Conference first. Biggest winners, I think, are the Hawks. They've had a really good week. They've won 4 straight.
Have they really?
They're starting to claw their way back up. Mm-hmm. And biggest losers started off 9-5. Now they're 9-8. Unfortunately, it's the Cavs. They haven't had a great week. They've been decimated by injuries.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't really fault them for it. They're so hurt. But then West, I think it's pretty easy. The Suns, 12 straight.
Oh, yeah, the Suns are one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now.
12 straight. I need to see them versus the Warriors. When do they play?
Let me see.
And then my biggest West losers, you can say the Rockets. That's kind of boring. They suck. They've lost 14 straight. But I think my biggest loser, who's actually a contender, is the Nuggets. They've lost 4 straight. They started off 9-4. Really good.
Michael Porter Jr.'s season is in doubt because of his nerve, because he has a nerve injury. And the Warriors Suns is on Tuesday, November 30th.
Yeah,
that'll be a good game.
Soon. I think, that's game of the year type of game.
I mean, game of the year last year was probably the Warriors Lakers play-in tournament game, but regular season might have been the Hawks Nets. I think game of the year comes when you least expect it.
Cavs Nets last year.
Cavs Nets was a serious contender for game of the year.
All right, you guys ready to wrap it up?
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to college football. This was a pretty big week. We had some pretty notable losses in the top 4. A notable loss, and a few teams who looked really good, a few quarterbacks who looked like 2 guys who pulled away and looked like the only 2 guys who could possibly win the Heisman. So, Baden, you want to start it off?
Yes, I want to start off with the best team in the state of Ohio, and that's Ohio State. They looked, I don't even know what to say. They've grown so much from that Thursday night game in Minnesota to what they are now. I was not expecting that from Ohio State. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was gonna be a pretty close game. I think we'd pull away in the 4th, but I thought overall it'd have been a close game. Nope, 49.
56-7
at halftime. That's wild.
That was reminiscent of Shaker Medina. Just by the way.
Oh, bro, why do you have to say that? No.
Oh my God.
Look, they lost. We're smoking that Medina pack.
Yeah. Oh, they lost 41-6 to Eds. So
Allar's overrated. So anyway,
Rip Bozo.
He massacred our high school. Watch him massacre Ohio State when he's at Penn State.
He's gonna get destroyed.
I'm gonna cry, but that's not happening. I will actually cry if he decides to massacre Ohio State. But yeah, I think Ohio State proved to me they're at least the second best team in the country. And with the help of the Utah Utes, we're definitely gonna be moving up in the rankings.
I just want to say, when I was taught a couple of weeks ago, when I was giving my rankings for college football, and I was like, Alabama's not a top 6 team, I was right. I made a W prediction. I was right. What was their score? They almost lost to number 21 ranked Arkansas.
Yeah.
42-35.
I still think they're like all right, let's think about it. Georgia is obviously one. There's no debate about that.
Yeah.
Ohio State's probably the second best team, but I don't think they're going to give it to them. I think Alabama will still beat 2.
Yeah.
Then you say
Cincinnati.
Then maybe Michigan. Who else are you going to put over Bama? Who else are you going to realistically put over Bama, other than Georgia, Ohio State, Cincinnati, Michigan at this moment?
Yeah. I mean, Michigan, when they lose to Ohio State, they're not, they're done.
Yeah, they'll be done. But
I think really there were 2 notable things this week. There was Oregon losing, which dropped them. They're 11 right now.
In the AP poll?
Yeah. And then OSU.
That was a bad loss.
And then even though both teams won, OSU leapfrogging Alabama and going to second. I think those are like the two big things that happened.
I think it's gonna be interesting how the playoff sees Ohio State's win against the number 7 team in the nation. To massacre a team like that and not jump Alabama is to me kind of wild. But I think I see it happening, especially because I don't know. There's just a bias towards Alabama.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Bama's
I
in
mean,
regardless.
there's a slight
probably.
I think there's a slight bias towards us as well, just because we are
Yeah.
Ohio State.
Yeah. We've also
It's
looked
not like we're a
top
small
4.
school or anything.
But it's not like we have made the playoff every year but once, like Bama.
Which is a different topic, like how they need to rework. Because I'm a firm believer in expanding the CFP.
I think it should be 8 team. I think 8 makes sense.
Topic for a different day. I don't know. I don't think that I could put. I guess you're right that the only people I would consider, I guess. Never mind. I don't know if I could put UTSA. UTSA is who I'm putting over Alabama. I am a firm believer in who is UT? What's their team name? What UTSA?
I think they're the Roadrunners.
What is the UTSA? Come on, that's so much better than the Crimson Tide.
That is true. The Crimson Tide. I don't think that should be more of a topic. How awful that name is, the Crimson Tide. But no, you gotta be true.
No, UTSA.
I think it means like waves of blood.
Number 1 in the country.
That's kind of funny.
I think UTSA, undefeated teams that don't play anyone good, it's very tough to rank them.
Yeah, it's not even like it's Cincinnati that, Cincinnati's proven. UTSA, yes, they're undefeated, but they would be massacred by Alabama.
Any of the top
they'd be blowing Alabama out 55-0. Bryce Young 6 interceptions out of the Heisman watch. UTSA number 1 in the country. Best team ever. 2. Absolutely.
If UTSA were to beat Alabama, how far would you put them in the rankings? Like
if they beat Alabama, dude, put them number 1. Put them number 1.
You're top 4. They go top 4.
If you're the college football playoff, would you? I
actually they'd probably drop because they would just be so mad at them for beating Bama. Like, bro, you messed everything up. We can't have this. And so they'd actually probably become unranked, is my bet.
Yeah, there's honestly a chance where a 2-loss Bama team makes the Final Four.
I don't think it's so crazy.
Dumb.
Which is so, but is I
mean, when your only losses are to A&M, that was, it was a loss. They didn't look great. They lost to a game-winning field goal. And then to Georgia, if they lose another one. I mean, you can't really say losing to the number 1 team in the country means you're not top 4. Because that just indicates that the number 1 team in the country is number 1.
I mean, let's think about it. All right, Cincinnati wins out, Ohio State wins out, Georgia wins out. That's 1, 2, 3 right there. Are you putting, all right, are you taking a 1-loss Oklahoma team, conference champion, who has looked good at times and kind of questionable at others?
I think Oklahoma making it would be a good story. The Caleb Williams arc. And Spencer Rattler's redemption arc. It would be a very good story to see them make it. And I mean, they would probably be at 5 right now if they didn't lose last week.
Yeah, if they didn't lose, yeah, I think I could see that.
But I don't know. I think that there's like there's a feasible way, quote unquote, because it's kind of out there, that Notre Dame like sneaks in to the to the top 6 at least.
Sorry, top 6.
I mean, they're 5 right now in the AP.
Bro,
are they really 5 right now? Because it says they're number 8 right now. That's for
the one I'm looking at says they're 5.
Jacob's looking at the AP poll. You're probably looking at the college football rankings.
Yeah.
Oh.
But no, there's no, bro. I do not want to see Notre Dame in the playoff. People always say, oh, those small non-power 5 schools will get blown out by Clemson and Bama. So does Notre Dame. Like
Notre Dame does that every year, and they're still in the playoff.
Like there's a reason why they shouldn't be up there. They just keep proving it year after year. I know you can't like take stuff from last year and build show and try to use that to judge how a team is this year. but Notre Dame's Notre Dame.
I mean,
They're a top 10 team that's far from top 5.
So I think a big game is Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State, because they're ranked 9 and 13 right now. Oklahoma State is 9. So depending on how that game turns out, like if it's a dominating victory or like a crushing defeat, that might determine like a top 6 spot.
I believe there is a chance that they would play each other back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's set in stone because I think Baylor's still in the mix for. But if is Oklahoma State still undefeated?
No, Oklahoma State lost 1. Who did they lose to? They lost to. Oh right, it was the upset loss at Iowa State.
All right.
5-2 Iowa State though, so I don't know if that changes anything.
So I'm guessing the winner of that game probably either, if Baylor loses, then I would think the winner of those Oklahoma State and Oklahoma would play against each other back-to-back weeks. But if Baylor wins, then the winner of that game plays Baylor. I think
they're not. Iowa State isn't 5-2. What am I saying? That's my bad.
Iowa State's 6 and 5.
Yeah, I mean it's not a good loss to have on your resume. I mean, a lot of these teams have really bad losses, and that's just like a thing that happens every year. And you can look at any team except for an undefeated team and say they're a fraud. They lost to a really bad team, usually. Like half the teams in the top 25, you can say they lost to these guys. These guys are bad. Like at some point, you have to realize that everyone has that loss, and you kind of have to just factor it out, unless it happens twice. If it happens twice, I would be worried. But if it happens once, I'm not.
I think the only way that it sucks to say, but the only way that Alabama doesn't make the CFP
is if they lose this week.
They either have to lose this week or Texas A&M probably has to like lose out, and they were like, "Oh my God, how did they lose that badly?" I know that kind of invalidates what Jacob is saying earlier.
I think the only way they need to lose 3 games, in my opinion. They'd have to lose this week to Auburn, which I don't see happening, and they'd have to get blown out by Georgia. If they get absolutely demolished by Georgia in the SEC championship game, then Alabama doesn't make it in.
Remaining meeting time 10 minutes. I figured this would happen. Dude, Zoom is going crazy.
Zoom, please sponsor us. We'll stop saying bad things about your platform. Like, in what scenario? Why wouldn't you give us more than 40 minutes? That's ridiculous. We might just have.
Why 40 minutes? You either cap it at 30 minutes or you cap it at an hour. Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
I think Bama makes it. The only way, as a 2-loss team, they wouldn't make it is they get blown out by Georgia, and a team that is outside the top 4 wins a really good game. That's the only way I see it happening.
Yeah. Speaking of a team currently outside the top 4, records, Michigan, how much are they losing by?
I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a better game than people realize.
You can go.
I think it's a better game than the Michigan State game. Better than Ohio State, Michigan State. But it will be. I think the first half is gonna be kind of close, back and forth. Second half is gonna be kind of reminiscent of the 2018 game where Ohio State put 62 on their head. It's a very similar offense to that. They're just gonna run crossing routes all over the field.
I don't know. Our receivers are just so dominant. Yeah, I think that it's hard to.
I think Chris Olave is going to score 3 touchdowns. I think Travion Henderson.
Hot take.
I think Travion Henderson will eclipse 150 total yards. And Ohio State,
that's the thing. Like Michigan doesn't have a terrible defense. Like their defense is solid,
and they have the best pass rushing duo in all of college football.
I think Henderson's.
Oh wait, that one linebacker. I don't remember what his name is, but I know who you're talking about.
Do you guys think
Aiden,
Henderson's going to be the RB1 in his class?
It looks like it's either him or the guy from Wisconsin who's like 17 going crazy. Those are the top 2 freshman running backs right now.
Yeah, Henderson looks good.
And we have a lot of top tier freshmen. You think about I think Denzel Burke, the corner. He's definitely has a chance to be a first round pick a couple years from now. You want to talk about Quinn Ewers whenever he gets a chance to play, which I think will probably be not next season, but the season after. And then the one defensive lineman, I forgot his name. I think Tyleek Smith. Or Tyleek Williams. I don't fully remember his name. I think Tyleek is his first name. He's amazing as well. So there's a lot of young players, and I think we're set for the future.
All right, so let's wrap up college football there, and we're going to move on to the NFL. Let's give our quick predictions for the Monday Night Football game before our meeting time expires.
I think that Daniel Jones turns into Eli Manning and is a mid quarterback. Nothing different. Like, I'm not saying they're going to win. He's just mid. Buccaneers win 31-17.
Okay, I think this depends on whether Saquon comes back. I think Giants will jump out to an early lead. The Buccaneers will reel them back. And I think final will be 27-24. Game-winning field goal.
I hate the Buccaneers with a burning passion. I think they are a stupid team and they shouldn't exist. Abolish the Buccaneers from the NFL. But Daniel Jones has played too well this year for him to not make a mistake. I think that karma is a cold, cold mistress. And so absolutely he's going to throw for 4 picks, 2 touchdowns. He is going to have another one of the plays where he runs like 80 yards and falls down at the 3-yard line. And Buccaneers will blow out the Giants with a score of like 42-7.
I love how you said Daniel Jones is going to throw 2 touchdowns and then say this goes 7 points.
But, wait, shoot. No, cut it out.
No. You're right. He'll throw 1 touchdown and then he'll throw a pick 6.
Yeah, so. You're right. Sorry, that's what I meant.
That's actually not even a crazy take, considering
that's not even a crazy
Jones's
take.
turnover ability.
Man, this game I don't see much into this.
This is not gonna. I don't want to watch this game. I'm gonna watch the Cavs game over this. I'm
not even going to. I'm going bowling. So that's.
Oh, okay. Oh man. All right. 4 minutes. We got 4.5 minutes left. What do we want to talk about?
I guess we can start talking about some of the games across the league before we get into the Browns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. So I'm just gonna go through the list. Patriots Falcons. Not a close game. Mac Jones did everything he needed to. Falcons QBs look terrible.
Bro,
Mac Jones is trash. I don't want to hear any I don't want to hear any Mac Jones like praise here because he's not good. He is terrible.
Mac Jones is good. All right, let's
stop.
But all right, he's the definition of mid.
You can be both good and a system QB, and that's what he is.
I said this last podcast. I knew he was probably going to be a little bit better than all the other quarterbacks in the draft going in, but he wouldn't get much better. I don't see Mac Jones getting much better than this. What he doesn't take it's not like it's a 15th overall pick worth, but it gets the job done. It gets the job done, and
I guess I can't really criticize it if they're winning, but I think the amount of praise that gets thrown out there for him is so stupid because it's Bill Belichick and who's their GM? I don't know who their GM
Bill
is.
Belichick.
It's
Bill
Belichick. Yeah, he's both.
It's Belichick. God, showing my ignorance right there.
Belichick doesn't even have a contract. He just has the job as long as he wants it.
It's wild to me that he's gonna get this praise because it's Belichick. Oh, I hate Belichick, but he did such a good job of constructing that team and like the game plan around Mac Jones. It's absolutely wild.
I think part of it also is that everyone bought into the hype of him going 3rd overall in the draft, which I never bought into that. Like, that's just unrealistic. And now those people, all right, then they look dumb when they saw him fall to 15, and those same people who looked dumb when he fell to 15 are now like saying, "Oh, this is why he should have went 3rd overall." I think that's also why he's getting a lot of hype.
So stupid. I'm sorry. I hate Mac Jones. I've talked about it so much. I don't want to talk about it anymore because I just
let's move on from this. We're not even talking about how bad the Falcons are. Let's just move on.
All right. Okay.
Actually, we have a minute and a half. So do we have anything that we want to plug or like? I mean, I guess we do have something that we want to plug.
Jacob, just start the new Zoom.
All right, I'll get started. Viewers, we will see you guys in a second, where we will continue our Sunday recap. Enjoy the ASMR of me writing an email to Baden and Sam. All right, we got Baden back first.
Alrighty, we still.
Here's Sam. All right.
I don't know if it cut off enough, but make sure you guys follow us on Twitter.
Yes, that is true.
You guys should have.
Yeah, there. I'm there.
Hi, Sam. Really? All right. Let's Sam is wearing a red hat.
No, I'm sorry. It's a Carps hat. It's a Hiroshima Carps hat.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you say just a red hat and nobody else sees it.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not built like that. I'm not built like that.
Okay, so let's next up, Ravens and the Bears. The Red Rocket is back, and he's balling.
The Bears are so poverty. I don't understand how you lose this game.
Yeah, I mean,
I understand Justin Fields went down, but
Andy Dalton played well.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson. No other quarterback in the league carries as much as Lamar Jackson does.
And then you just lost to Tyler Huntley.
They lost to Tyler Huntley, dog.
Darnell Mooney looked like he will have a very successful career in the NFL. He had a very good game. He looked elusive. He looked good.
He would have won me one of my fantasy games if Jonathan Taylor didn't put up 53.5.
He would have helped me beat you, Sam, but I benched him for DK Metcalf. Okay, so anything else to say about that game?
No, just the Bears are so trash. Fire Matt Nagy.
I also want to talk about how the sad fall off of Allen Robinson.
Oh man, he's still good too. It's just like
still good. But
did you guys see the interview Fields did a couple months ago? Someone asked him like why Mooney is his favorite receiver, and he didn't like straight up say like Mooney's not my favorite receiver. He said like Mooney was always the guy who stayed late with me at practices to keep working, and I guess I developed a bond with him. Like he didn't deny that Mooney's his favorite receiver, and I think like it's just a matter of quarterback preference. Trubisky really liked Robinson because Trubisky.
Let's give Trubisky the starting job in Buffalo, I think.
We should. Josh Allen looked bad. Moving on. That's a good segue. Colts Bills. Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor.
What a game.
Jonathan Taylor for MVP talk should start. I don't say he's not the front runner.
I don't know. We were just talking the other episode, which you guys should go listen to if you haven't already, about Jonathan Taylor really being the only other contender with Cooper Kupp.
Didn't I say Jonathan?
Yeah, you were like Jonathan Taylor's the only other contender with
Cooper Kupp. Really well.
Oh man, I'm looking very smart.
Only W takes on the podcast.
That's true. That's very true.
But yeah, Jonathan Taylor for MVP talk should start.
MVP is just inherently biased to quarterbacks, which really sucks.
But it's like
really sucks.
Who's like Stafford's not played well as of late. Dak, I thought if the Cowboys would have won a game against the Chiefs, my Dak take as the front runner would have looked amazing as well. That doesn't look good. Who else? Kyler Murray hasn't played in a minute, and Colt McCoy has looked awesome. So how good is
God bless Colt McCoy?
So
there's no one running away with it from the quarterback standpoint. But yeah, Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor are balling out.
I don't know. I think it would be disrespectful to give the first non-quarterback like MVP in a while to anybody other than Derrick Henry.
That's true.
Like the guy ran for 2,000 yards and he didn't win the MVP. And I know that he's against that. Yeah, I know. But like what he does was insane, and he does it on such a high level, and he only wins Offensive Player of the Year. So I feel like if you're going to give it to Jonathan Taylor or Cooper Kupp,
I'm just saying Taylor is on the pace to eclipse Henry's yards total from last year.
Oh wait, really?
And also, yeah. And also
that's
he's
my
receiving.
bad.
Total yardage, I don't know, but is he really on pace for 2,000 rushing yards?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's at like Jonathan. I believe he's at like 1,100.
Oh, then yeah, he would be.
He had 185 this week, which puts him at on the year he has 1,122 rushing.
And what are we at right now? We're 10 weeks into the season.
11
weeks.
But the Colts haven't had their bye yet, so you just factor that in.
I don't think he hits 2,000, but he probably get around 1,800.
He'll hit 2,000 total.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I feel like that's less big of a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, Derrick Henry. This might be a pretty like. I don't think he's the best running back in football. Like he's so physically great. I understand that, but when you talk about how efficient he is, it's really a lot of 3,
volume.
4, 5, 6 yard carries, and then he breaks off the big one. Like it's not really consistent. Like a guy like Chubb.
Chubb's yards per carry this year is like 7.
Yeah, Chubb is literally like the second highest yards per carry in a career all time.
Chubb's field vision is easily the highest in the NFL.
Like I would say, but Derrick Henry, and then also like what Sam just said, other than Jonathan Taylor, who else gets 30 carries a game?
Yeah.
So, give Nick Chubb 30 carries a game. And I think he would be putting up very similar, if not better, numbers.
If Baker's struggling, it wouldn't be shocking if we do that next week.
I want to use that to transition into another one of the games. I was sorry, Jacob. I know I'm stealing your thunder. Pittsburgh versus the Chargers. And the only thing I want to talk about is this game. is how much Austin Eckler is underappreciated. Austin Eckler, let me pull up his stats really quickly.
I think it was 117 total yards and 4 touchdowns.
Eckler balled. He looked really good.
He looked
Last
really
year, people
good.
were saying he was not a top 10 running back.
That is sick.
This year, rankings have shifted so much. Like, there's so many quarterbacks.
I was thinking about that this morning. What are my running back rankings? I'd say Chubb, Henry, Taylor, Kamara,
Yeah, put
CMC.
McCaffrey. You put McCaffrey at
Kamara.
Yeah, McCaffrey's over Kamara.
Availability is the best ability. That's why that's the reason I don't have Saquon top 3. Because when it comes to pure talent, he's number 1. He's just not on the field.
I don't know if you can say pure talent he's number 1 anymore. Jonathan Taylor.
That's also part of the reason why he's lower. It's like, is he really that same dude?
All right, so I found the stats that I wanted. So far this year, Austin Eckler has already eclipsed his career high in rushing yards in a season with 573 this season. He's on pace, I believe, to break his record for. Is that good math? He'll have like the second or third highest receiving totals of his career, and he already has 7 touchdowns on the ground, 6 in the air. I love Austin Eckler so much. I think really indescribable.
Brandon Staley, head coach of the Chargers, wants to run the ball. They don't even run it a whole lot, but it's just way more than it's been the past few years, highlighting Eckler, who should be the highlight of that offense. So I think props to Brandon Staley for utilizing him correctly, or not correctly, because it's not like Anthony Lynn misused him, but I guess utilized him better.
I love Austin Eckler's play style. I'm such a big fan of him. I'll rave about him all day, but we don't have time for that. So Jacob, what's the next game you want to get to?
Packers Vikings. Kirk Cousins.
Take your L. Your L, Packers fans.
I may have not told you guys this, but I actually believe that the Vikings would win this game. I really like. I think the Vikings, did. I'm being so serious. I believe the Vikings would win this game. The Vikings are a playoff level football team. I said it before the season. They have a team that could potentially win the division. Now that probably won't happen at this point, but the Vikings, I think they don't get the props that they deserve.
Actually, I wanted to talk about the quarterback for the Vikings. Can anybody name him? I don't know if you can.
Mid Cousins.
Tough one. No, but he's not mid. That's actually exactly what I wanted to talk about.
Aaron Rodgers' father.
So I know that
his name is. Aaron Rodgers Sr.
Right now, Kirk Cousins has 2,775 yards passing, which is 7th in the league, 21 touchdowns, tied for 5th, and 2 interceptions, tied for 1st. He also has a 59.1 QBR.
59.
He looks
59.
Good. 59.1, which is 8th in the league.
Is QBR that?
You're thinking of passer rating, Baden.
I think passer rating, my bad.
By the way, Baker's QBR last week was like 8.
It's not. We'll talk about that in a minute, though. Whenever we get to the. Yeah, but I don't know. I just wanted to show Kirk Cousins a little appreciation because I know that he gets a lot of hate, deservedly. He looks bad so often, but he looked good. He looked good this game.
Yeah, more often than not, Kirk Cousins is just not going to win you a football game. But this time he did it, and he played really well. Justin Jefferson's top 5. Debate with me all you want.
There have been so many emergences of players being really elite this year that it really rankings are shaking up every week. You have to wait till the end of the year to put out a legit rankings. All right, so moving on. Washington versus Carolina. There's no justice in the world. This is Cam's return. He plays great. And their defense sells. It's very unfortunate.
That's the most Panthers thing to do, though. Like, I don't know. I feel like I could have predicted it. I didn't really watch this game, but good for Cam. I mean, it's.
Whatever. I did predict this again. I'm pretty good at this stuff, guys.
Did predict this. I think
being
he's lying.
I'm being so serious. I predicted this. Washington would spoil the upset. Or spoil the upset. Spoil the
That's not how it works, bud.
Taylor Heineke, he's just I don't know how to think about Taylor Heineke.
I swear, if I hear some Taylor Heineke slander in the next 5 minutes,
it's not gonna happen. It's like it might happen. Taylor Heineke is just I don't know if he's a franchise. Like some games, he looks like a franchise quarterback, but other games, it's like, oh, there was a reason he was on his couch a week before the playoffs. Like there's so like
you really can't tell. He's really a very tough player to like rank because he's so inconsistent, but not in the Baker Mayfield way of inconsistency. It's just like I don't know. I don't
he's
know.
more elite than Baker when he's on point
because he's a dual threat.
That's not true. That's not true. Baker is at his best.
Actually, no, I don't.
I think Baker is more inconsistent. Yes, and when they're playing at their worst, Baker's worse. But when they're playing at their best, Baker is. I can't name 10 quarterbacks better than Baker Mayfield when he's playing at his best.
I get.
And is that a good segue to the Browns?
Yeah, that's probably good. That's probably good.
Do you guys want to cover a couple more games, like just really quickly before we move on to the Browns Lions?
We got to do like quick takes on them.
All right. Yeah, Niners beat the Jaguars. Jaguars suck. Texans beat the Titans. Not sure how to feel about that.
Dude,
Tyrod Taylor looked good.
What is the Titans' deal? They won like almost all of their games against
the really good teams.
Against above 500 teams, and then they lose to the Jets and the Texans. And did they lose to the Texans again? Did they lose to the Texans twice?
I think their other loss was the. I don't know their other loss.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Okay, it's wild. So moving on. Dolphins beat the Jets. Pretty boring game. No one looked very good.
Whoa! We're not going to talk about Joe Flacco MVP? Ridiculous.
No, we can talk about Elijah Moore MVP.
Yes, that's fair.
Elijah Moore looked good. Denzel Mims needs
I need to start him on my fantasy team, bro. I really need to start him. Like I've seen him put up like 50, like a total of like 70 points in the last 3 weeks. I need to start him over Brandon Cooks.
He's really good. The Jets drafted well this year. Zach Wilson is still up in the air. I didn't like the pick. I talk about it all the time. I didn't like the pick at all. But Elijah Vera Tucker, Michael Carter, who got injured during that game too.
Yeah, it sucks.
And Elijah Moore all look very, very solid.
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
All right, let's just keep going. Yeah.
All right, Saints Eagles. Eagles looked like a playoff team. Jalen Hurts looked really good. It was surprising. The Eagles have a very good future. They have 3 first-rounders next year, and they're a borderline playoff team.
Jalen
very
Hurts
big fan of the
future. I don't understand why people still don't think Jalen Hurts is not the future. Is QB1. I think he is QB1 of the Eagles. Yeah.
Other side of that QB game was Trevor Siemian, who I firmly believe can be a starting caliber.
You say Trevor?
Okay.
How do you say his name?
Trevor Siemian. So Trevor Siemian.
Trevor Siemian like a monkey.
He looked okay. Trevor Siemian looked okay.
Okay. Did he throw what? Oh no, he threw 4 touchdowns, but he also
he didn't play badly, but the Saints defense looked really bad.
Oh my goodness.
Bengals, Raiders.
Bengals.
Okay, Bengals, Raiders. Joe Burrow looked good. The Bengals, Joe Mixon looked really good. Derek Carr looked really bad, and their offense didn't get anything going. Cowboys, Chiefs, incredibly boring. Like people thought it was gonna be a really good game. Cowboys, Chiefs. It looked very bad. It wasn't a good game.
I saw an Instagram page that predicted that this would be the game with the most yards in a game in NFL history. Not even close.
Spoiler alert! It was not, dear viewer.
It was. I mean, it's not even a bad pick. Like looking at it before the game, that's a solid pick. 2 really good offenses, to a mediocre defense and a really bad defense.
But this is what I'm saying. The best games come out of nowhere. Like you don't predict. Who was going to predict the Chargers Steelers game was going to be so crazy?
Exactly.
Chargers games are usually pretty good.
The Chargers play a lot of close games. So.
Okay. Cardinals Seahawks. Seahawks suck. I mean, they're really bad.
They suck.
Thank
all I
you,
have to say.
Seahawks. Thank you for trading 2 firsts for Jamal Adams because now we have a 2nd and a 5th. Oh man.
Russell Wilson was the fourth best quarterback on either of the rosters. Kyler Murray 1.
Wow.
Colt McCoy 2.
You know I'm about to say Geno Smith.
Okay, so ignoring that horrible take. Let's move on to the main one. Browns Lions.
All right, I want to start off. All right.
Go for
it. Baker midfield. You got to play better, dog. I understand you're hurt. Bro. Come on, bro. Like
Baker midfield.
I'm
wild.
I think we need to play Case Keenum. He's the best quarterback on the roster right now.
Let Baker heal. I agree. I think.
No, but you can't because this week was the week to let Baker heal. Next week we need him.
We need him
against the Ravens. It was really dumb to start him this week because if you wanted to let Baker heal, you do it against the winless team, not against the division leaders.
Yeah. Also, it's just this year's just been kind of frustrating. It's like we've seen this team already this year. This same exact team play. We beat the Bengals 41-16. How does this all of a sudden change? Like I don't.
It makes sense. Look, like I've been saying, this is gonna be. I think this is gonna be very reflective of last year when OBJ went out. We had a rough go at it the first few games. Like the first 3 games were very, very close. And then we won 5 straight, right? I think that it's going to be a slog, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason we kind of struggled for.
Oh, Baden, your mic just cut out.
Yeah, Baden, we can't hear you. Okay, so what Baden was saying, I'm going to pick up on that because we can't hear him at all.
He's kind of just staring at us right now.
Now he's back.
There it is. You're back. Back.
My connection just went off, so I don't know what just happened. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We play the Ravens next week. I need Baker midfield to look like Baker Greatfield.
That was so bad. That was. Let's just take a second to talk about how bad that transition was. Midfield to great. What?
I don't know.
You have to find something that rhymes at least.
I'm just saying stuff to say stuff at this point.
Unbelievable. That was terrible. I'm gonna get roasted for mine, but you're just gonna I'm not gonna let that one slide, Baden.
I don't know. This is kind of confusing when we see a guy who he led an offense to 500 total yards and no turnovers against the Chargers. Same dude throwing 2 picks against the Lions.
And Baker kind of threw against the Chargers too. We are starting to look like chokers. I'm not gonna lie.
We look like the Chargers from last year.
How many games have we lost from behind this year? 3? Steelers, Chargers, Chiefs. We are starting to look like chokers, which is not good. Yeah. It's a really bad thing.
But on the flip side, a positive thing to take.
Technically, the Patriots, we were upset.
Oh yeah, from behind, air quotes from behind. I don't know, but on the flip side, Baker Mayfield looked bad, but the other facet of our offense, thank God for Nicholas Jamal Chubb.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
the fact that we are only going to be paying him $12 million is kind of insane. I understand a running back, they're cheaper contracts, but he's definitely worth more than $12 million.
Oh my God, he's
so good.
So.
You guys are like totally frozen for me, both of you. It's probably an issue on my end. That's not good. I'm gonna write a message in the chat. You guys are frozen.
Oh my! Oh wait, no, there he is. He's back.
Oh, I'm back. Okay, good. I just got a message from Zoom telling me my internet connection is unstable.
Yeah, no, we can tell. Yeah, no, he looks really good. Our defense held strong there for a lot of it. I don't know. I think that there was just a lot of negatives and positives to take away from that. Also, I like the photo and you're the poster in the background, Baden. I just noticed that you just moved your head. I appreciate it.
But I guess a win is a win, but we need to play better. Any other team in the league we lose to, besides the Jets.
Yo, what? Yo, that was uncalled for, man.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You are wrong. I'll tell you you're wrong.
Well, you just lied to yourself. But
you don't have to call me out like this. I get bullied plenty at school. I don't need to be bullied here too. The Benchwarmers podcast is supposed to be a safe space.
Okay. So anyway, any more to say about the Browns-Lions game or forward for the Browns?
I think we can move on to the Benchwarmer segment.
I think really the biggest key is feed Chubb. Feed him the ball. Feed Chubb. Also, Hunt may be back.
Johnson soon.
Hunt may be back. They might activate him off the IR. So that would be good. But feed Chubb. Moving on. Benchwarmers.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. One last thing.
No?
Talking about actually, never mind. I've lost my train of thought. All right, Benchwarmers. I have my 4 right here. Number 1 is Tyler Huntley / the entire Ravens team. That team is so wild. That team feels like a peewee football team out there without Lamar Jackson, and they still went out and won.
Honestly, we should be John Harbaugh for Coach of the Year talk should be happening a bit more.
They were just good last year. I think that it's not going to happen, even though I understand where you're coming from.
I see that too, but
I think right now it's Staley, Chargers coach.
I think is Kingsbury.
I mean, we already talked about this. Was last episode. Come on, guys. On topic.
Right.
My benchwarmer number 2. He's not really a benchwarmer because he is their starting running back. But Adrian Peterson, I just like seeing him back in the league again. 9 rushes for 40 yards.
Yeah, good over 4 yards.
Over 4 yards a carry. What you gonna do about it? Why? Oh man, Jacob.
No, Jacob. I just realized what you want. Oh my God, I just realized what you meant. But
all right, so
I have 2 NBA players to move on from that. Jacob, Cam Johnson of the Phoenix Suns. Not last night. Might have been last night. I don't know. I was looking on ESPN and I don't remember. In a blowout win, he had 22 points with a plus-minus of 19 on 9 of 15 field goals and 40% from 3. I don't know. I just remember watching him last year in the Bucks Suns finals, and the Bucks would leave him permanently open from the corner, and he just wouldn't miss. And that was kind of fun to watch because it kind of reminded me of that. And for the Knicks, Alec Burks, who I feel like passed his prime as soon as he came into the league, really. That feels disrespectful. I'm sure he was a good player. I feel like he averaged double-digit points a ton. He had 20 points, 18 of them in the fourth quarter. Which is insane. 6 of 7 from 3 and 5 steals. 5 steals.
That's different.
Bro.
I also want to put it in one for Benchwarmers. We got to talk about Colt McCoy. I mean,
Colt McCoy is insane.
300. Did he go 350? I don't know if he went 350 yards, but he had 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah, he looked good.
Colt McCoy for MVP talk.
So mine was. He's not really a bench warmer, but he's been out the last few weeks. Tyrod Taylor came back off injury.
God bless that man.
And defeats the Tennessee Titans, the 1 seed in the AFC. Scores a flipping touchdown. I mean, he looked great. Tyrod Taylor looked great.
I want to talk about how much love I have for Tyrod Taylor. The man has started the career of 4 different quarterbacks, and he's still in the league, and he's still going strong. I mean, shout out to him. I love Tyrod. I hope that me saying this isn't ignoring something that he did, but I do really like Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
And if that's all for Benchwarmers, we can move on to trivia.
Yep.
All right. So the Cavs trivia. All right. So 2 of these I do know, and then 1 of them I don't know. So get ready. 1 second. Tell me have I asked you guys who the shortest player in Cavaliers history is?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, so who is the shortest player in Cavaliers history? So the 4 options are Walter Tavares, Isaiah Thomas, Earl Boykins, and Kay Felder. This is the one that I don't know.
I mean, Isaiah Thomas seems like a good pick.
But
Like,
I think
that's too obvious.
Yeah.
It's definitely Isaiah Thomas is still 5'10", 5'9".
Yeah,
which is still reasonably.
Guys. There's definitely guys.
I'm gonna say Walter Tavares.
I'm gonna go with Boykin.
Earl Boykins was like, if I'm remembering correctly, Earl Boykins was like 5'6".
Wasn't he like one of the shortest players ever?
Yes, he was. He's the second. I think he's like the second or third shortest ever because 5'5" is
never mind. I'm
insanely.
All right, I'm going with Boykins.
I'm very confident it's Earl. Pretty confident.
That should be Tavares.
All right. It is not Isaiah Thomas. It is not Kay Felder. It is not Walter Tavares, which means that it is indeed Earl Boykins. At 5'5". Oh, on the dot. Look at that. Earl Boykins is the second shortest player in NBA history behind Muggsy Bogues. Sorry. He went undrafted, but he was signed to contracts by 5 different NBA teams, including the Cavs. And then he got a 5-year, $14 million contract with the Nuggets in the 2003-2004 season.
Baller.
I didn't know he ever played for the Cavs.
That's insane. That means that he could have played with LeBron because that 2003 season when he was drafted. 5'5" Earl Boykins and 6'8" LeBron James sharing the same court.
Oh man, what a sight to see!
I'm actually very disappointed now. All right, that's 1 point for each of us.
Yeah.
All right. Now, out of all of the Browns quarterbacks to start their first game for the team, whose first start as a Brown resulted in a win in their first game following the team's return to the NFL in 1999? The choices here are Tim Couch, Doug Peterson, Kelly Holcomb, and Jeff Garcia.
Oh,
I know this one, so I won't be answering.
I don't know this one.
Say Jeff Garcia. I don't even know who that is. I don't know any of those guys but Tim Couch.
Doug, you don't know who Doug Peterson is?
Doug Peterson, I know who he is. He was a quarterback for the Browns. Man,
yeah.
Man,
those early years were a little bit rough. I'm not gonna.
The years have been a little bit rough. Besides 2020 and 2018.
Man, can you repeat the 4?
Sure. Doug Peterson, Tim Couch, Kelly Holcomb, and Jeff Garcia.
Well, Peterson was after Couch, right? So I'm gonna say Couch.
I'm saying Garcia.
It is Jeff Garcia. In 2004, he led the team to a home victory over the Baltimore Ravens, 20-3. That's surprising. He was not good. He 15 for 24 for 180 yards and a touchdown, which is uninspiring. But hey, look, if it works, it works.
Yep.
Oh, I like this one. Okay. One problem. So that's a point for Baden. One problem
we're not bringing that to the podcast. Yo, you know how many people do that in the hallways now? They'll walk past me like, "What's up, Ben?" I blame Adam for this.
As you should. Adam was the one who convinced me to start doing it, which I think is the greatest part.
Shout out Adam. Come join the podcast.
Yeah, Adam on the podcast would be wild, man. All right. One problem for the Browns of this era was consistent QB play. How many different QBs started for the Browns under Romeo Crennel? Crennel?
For now.
Yeah.
Guessing a number?
Yeah, guessing a number. 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wow. How long did he
I'm gonna
coach
wait
for
for
us?
Baden to give his guess, and then I'll give mine.
That's so wild.
I'm gonna let Baden go
I'm gonna
first.
say, what? Can you tell me the years Romeo Cornell coached us? I don't.
2005 to 2008, if I recall. Let me see.
I'm going 5.
I'm gonna go 6.
Well, you are correct, Jacob. Derek Anderson, Charlie Fry, Brady Quinn, Trent Dilfer, of course, and then Ken Dorsey and Bruce. Hold on, Bruce Gradkowski. Yes, Bruce Gradkowski. Both started in 2008.
Kind of wild. Derek Anderson's the best quarterback we've had in the last 20 years.
What?
What?
I'm joking.
Wild. We had Josh McCown and Brock Osweiler.
Nah,
Brock
it's obviously-
Osweiler, by the way, is like the fleece of a century, but I don't want to get into that right now.
like when we traded him, then we trade him, and those picks became like Denzel Ward and Nick Chubb.
We basically took his contract for like a first rounder and a second rounder. But anyway, moving on from that.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
a
it?
major piece.
Yeah, that's
All right.
that's trivia for you. 2 points for Baden. Bay did. And 1 point, 2 point. Wait, no, that's actually 3 points. No, it's still 2.
No,
2 for Baden, 2 for Jacob, and 2 and only 1 for me because I looked up the trivia bits. I think that's the podcast.
All right.
Wait, go follow us on the medias on the World Wide Web.
We will see you guys soon. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Peace
Drop
out.
a like.
Kisses.
Mwah.